Hi, this is Katrina Adams, and you're listening to Brothers on Tennis.
Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? This is your boy Isaac.
And this is your boy Bryce.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. And folks, we got so much to talk to you about on this. I'm going to just start off. Bryce, I have to start off by saying this. If you are a Novak Djokovic fan, you are likely going to have an issue with this episode. I'm just going to put it out there right now, y'all. Put it out. Bryce, I'm gonna hand it over to you. Let's go on ahead and do the proper introduction, because you're the man. You know how to do stuff right. But I tell you what, I got so much boiling up inside of me, brother. I can't even halfway breathe, bro. How you doing, by the way, man? What's up?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
I am awesome, man. We got the Brothers on Tennis. Boom, boom. Yeah, man.
I got a little Outcast on today. Little stank on you. So,
all right. Come on, man.
But the first thing I want to do is I want to acknowledge that we're doing something different tonight. We've never done this before. We're actually recording a podcast episode. So those of you that will be listening to this through our normal podcast channels, it'll probably sound no different than normal. But we're all...
You can say, call now.
Oh, okay, there's Isaac.
Sorry about that. See, that's me. That's what you get when you go live, people.
Right. But also, we are recording this live on Instagram. Our producer, Chester, thought it'd be a good idea for us to do one live. Put it out there, let people see us while we're actually record, get a different experience with the brothers. And so forgive us for any kind of mess ups or whatever we do. This is the first time we're ever doing this, so be patient with us.
Like what just happened right there. Sorry about that, folks. Ooh, Chess gonna get me. Ooh, he gonna get me.
Yeah. But, and so what we decided we were going to do tonight is this was just going to be a full episode of Hot Topics.
Yes.
There's so much going on in the world and in the world of tennis right now that we made a list here of a page of topics, which I'm sure we're not going to get through all of them, but we just want to just talk about some of the things going on in the world of tennis. And you're getting it live and you're getting it raw from us. So hopefully you enjoy. And Isaac, before I turn it over to you to the first big topic we're going to talk about, I want to let our listeners know, if you did not listen to our last episode number 55, it's the one that we did the interview with Katrina Adams, who used to be the USTA president. Please go out there and listen to that. That was an amazing interview. Katrina Adams really let it fly on during that segment, and it's a gem. And
absolutely.
And the other thing we want to throw out there is she has a book coming out. I think it's on February the 23rd of 2021. It's called Own the Arena. It's a book on leadership, and a lot of it is based upon her experience as being the previous chairperson, CEO, and president of the USTA. So let's support our sister. Go out there, pre-order the book. I know I've pre-ordered a copy for me and my mom already.
Yes,
and let's get Katrina out there on the bestsellers list on day one.
Absolutely, y'all. Gotta support Katrina because she has done so much for the sport. And she be blinged out and be looking good. She be representing, always represent, got the diamonds on. Come on, man. We got to make sure that we are supporting our sisters. So let's make sure that we do those pre-sales, man. All right. Yeah, B. So
get it started.
Okay. So first of all, I know everybody in the tennis world has, of course, heard the news about the Adria Tour. You've heard about the Rona that hit, and I mean, it hit everybody up in there. I mean, so it started off with Dimitrov flying back, and then he put his post out, and then other folks got tested, and Coric, who I actually feel pretty bad for, tested positive, and then you go back to the folks from Serbia, and you had Troitsky and his wife tested positive, but then to top it all off, of course, Novak Djokovic is tests positive as well for the Rona, as did his wife. And and folks, I don't know about you and Bryce. When I even started watching that tournament, I was just kind of like, this is not right. Y'all, we've been on lock for 3+ months. 3+ months. And I just can't even explain the anxiety I felt when I saw them playing. I saw all of the hand smacking. I saw the crowd with nobody wearing any masks, just, high-fiving, getting their groove on. And I'm just sitting there like, yo, this is not right. And I understand if the local, parameters or what have you, guidelines or what have you, say that you don't have to do these things. But we've been on lock for 3+ months. Common sense would tell you that you should try to be a bit more A, sensitive to what has been going on around the world, and B, that you should know that this thing is not contained. B, last time I checked, there was no cure. There ain't no cure for the Rona. Ain't no cure. So how you just gonna step on out there and just act like, it didn't even happen. These last 3.5 months didn't even happen. Because to me, that's what it looked like to me. And I'm gonna pause because I got a shit ton to say about this, Bryce. I got a lot to say, and I apologize up front, folks, because some curse words are gonna come out because I can't help it because it don't make no sense. Right. So I'm gonna pause, and Bryce, you jump in with how you felt as you were just watching the start of that tournament. How did you feel?
Well, at first I was just surprised at what I was seeing because you hadn't seen anything like that during this period anywhere, in any sport, in any kind of gathering. And so I'm thinking, okay, we're going to hear something about this. And then when Djokovic came out and was like, when people were asking him about why aren't you social distancing, why aren't you taking more precautions, the way he responded to me was very arrogant. It was kind of like, well, I don't know how y'all have to do, but we don't have to do it like that over here. And, we're like this over here and over there. And to people and to Djokovic, if he has a problem understanding why in the big three, people gravitate to Federer and they gravitate to Nadal, it's because they don't do stupid stuff like this. They don't come across as arrogant and totally defy the advice of experts. And look, this is the problem in our society as a whole, right? We tend to exalt people because they're good in one particular thing, and we think that they are then a source of information or expertise in everything else.
Right.
Novak Djokovic is a great tennis player.
He is.
One of the best in the history of the game, right?
Absolutely.
But he is not a scientist. He's not a politician. He's not a meteorologist. There's a lot of stuff that he doesn't know and he can't control. And to me, when they were in Serbia, because I'm sure he's like the top guy in Serbia. I'm sure they fall over and do whatever he wants them to do.
Right.
He showed a true lack of leadership, not only for his country, not only for the people who he had invited to come play in the tournament, but let's not forget, he is also the head of the ATP Players Council. So you have all of these other events around the world having these regional events. Everybody's trying to be very safe because they want to try to create an example where they can get the full tour going back again. Right. And so he truly damaged the outlook of the tours getting back started again because he went out there and was reckless. And just one more thing before I turn it back over to you, Isaac. I was watching, I forgot what news channel it was this morning. And it wasn't a sports channel. It was either like CNN or MSNBC or something like that. Yeah. And they were saying, literally, in the world of sports, tennis and golf should be like the safest sports that you can do in this type of a situation. And they said, if tennis can't even get it right, then we're in trouble. And I would just say tennis has been getting it right at all these other regional events.
Absolutely.
But at the one where Djokovic decided that he was king, and we're going to not only not social distance at the event, We gonna play basketball. We gonna play
We-
soccer. We gonna turn up at the
Party
club.
on, we gonna get
You know,
turned. What?
you had Yelena Yankovic there at the club in our Clear Hills, and I mean, you know, everybody is turning up. And now everybody's turning up with the Rona.
With the Rona, exactly. And Bryce, I need you to help explain to me that whole club scene. How you just gonna be all up in the club, shirts off, you doing belly flops on the floor? I mean, do you? Did the last 3.5 months just absolutely just not happen? Did we just forget all of that?
Arrogance.
It's
Arrogance.
just absolute arrogance and selfishness. And this, to me, Bryce, is what bothers me. You know, I volunteered at tournaments before.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, your typical volunteers are your older crowd because they are retired and they have the time to be able to volunteer. This is where my mind went. What about because you know they couldn't run that tournament without volunteers. And I guarantee you, there were some folk who were probably of an older age that were trying to help out there. What about them? What if they came in contact with some of them? People who were just simply trying to give of their time and just to the sport because of their love of the sport. What happens if they came across Dimitrov or Troitsky or Djokovic or the wife?
Well, let me tell you what. We're hearing about the players because they're named people. So you're going to hear about Djokovic and Dimitrov coming up with the Rona.
Yep.
We're not going to hear about them. We're not going to hear about the fans, the ball kids, the volunteers. We don't know how many people got infected. And something that I don't want us to miss, when they were playing in Belgrade, I don't know if you remember, Montenegro saw what was going on. Mm-hmm. And they immediately came out and said, y'all not bringing that foolishness
here. Y'all not coming here.
Exactly. Right. They canceled that stuff quick.
They was like, holla, y'all.
Right. Montenegro, y'all my people. Because y'all was like, y'all are not bringing that foolishness here.
Exactly. And I respect them greatly for that. Because it's like, it's just, like you said, Bryce, it was selfish. It was arrogant, and kind of taking it back to what you said. You wouldn't have seen Federer doing this mess. You wouldn't have seen Nadal doing this mess. And that's my biggest issue as far as I can't call Djokovic greatest of all time simply because he's lacking a little something, like you said, in the leadership category. And we talked about it even on previous shows, how he was talking about, hey, you know, even if the water's toxic, if you believe strong enough, it'll clean itself up. You can drink it. That is irresponsible thinking, bro. It's just being irresponsible.
Well, you know, there's even talk I heard today. I think John Wertheim talked about it. There's some little murmurings from players wondering if he should step down from that lead role from the Players Council because he has not shown to hold that spot or that position responsibly.
Did you? I don't know if you heard this or not, but did you? Nick Kyrgios even came out and called it a bonehead decision. Why? When you got Nick Kyrgios busting on you, talking about these are bonehead decisions. I mean, you need to really, really feel bad.
Well, and remember what else he said. He said, you guys can't talk about anything I've done in the past that you've called immature or whatever because nothing that I've done has reached this level of stupidity.
Simply put, it's just, oh my goodness. It just, I still to this, I just cannot believe all of this, Bryce. It's just so disappointing to me that this went down. And like I said, I whatever comes, you know, man, you just.
Well, let's get some other people from the family involved. So
yes, let's go there.
Okay, we know Djokovic's role in all of this. So let's talk about his daddy, right?
Lord Jesus, yes.
It came out today that Djokovic's father is blaming Grigor Dimitrov for bringing the virus to the tournament, saying he got tested wherever he came from. He probably had it. He came. He's the one that really affected the whole tournament. Now, I just don't even have words for how stupid a comment that is to make.
Well, let's just be clear. The whole family cray. I mean, okay, we already had the mama that jumped out there talking about Federer being arrogant. Then the papa came out there, even before this comment, talking about Federer, why you still playing? You ain't got no need to play. You just mad because my boy's going to try and get up on your record. Why don't you just retire? Who are you to comment on Roger Federer's longevity in the sport of tennis? Do you not know how much that man brings to this sport? Do you have any clue? So the family, Bryce, there's some things missing up in there, bro. There's some things that are missing.
And what's disappointing to me in terms of the father is that, and everybody knows I'm not, the biggest Djokovic fan, but I give him his respect because the guy is good, right? But I feel sorry for him a little bit because his father puts him in positions that he doesn't need to be in. He already struggles with being number 3 of the big 3 in many of the ways, especially in the likability factor. But these comments from his dad, I don't know if his dad feels like, I can just go out there and say whatever I want to say, but he's hurting his son. He's hurting the reputation of his son.
Both of them are. Because, anytime you go against Federer, you have to know that the Fed fans are going to be looking at you cross-eyed. You have to know that. And Fed is going to be retiring. His career is not going to outlast both Nadal and Djokovic.
Right.
It's not. And we all know that. There will be some years where Federer will not be on the tour. And he being Djokovic and his family are doing themselves a disservice by doing all this busting on Federer. Because basically the Fed fans are either going to start supporting Nadal or they're going to start supporting the new crop. But he ain't going to get none of them. He ain't going to get none of them. And typically that's what happens when somebody retires, their fan base begins to kind of migrate. They go someplace else. They ain't going to go to I know I'm not going to go to Novak. I was even telling you that. I was like, I'm kind of warming up to Novak a little bit. That was before the toxic water, and that was before the mom and daddy went cray-cray and all of this, virus and it's just I'm done. I can't do it. I can't rock with you, Djokovic. I can't. I can't.
What I need Djokovic's dad to do is I need for him to go out to the press and I need him to go off on Beyonce so that the Beehive can just go ahead and get him. The Beehive can just go get him, and then we won't have to deal with that anymore, right?
Because the Beehive, you ain't want to do that. Don't you listen to Bryce. I'm going to try and help you out. Don't you? You get on that Beehive, you're going to be done, dude.
Right.
You're going to be done.
So, in summary, if you didn't catch everything that we were just saying, the Djokovic family right now is on suspect. And for a whole bunch of different reasons. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out with his fan base and how this plays out with the other players on tour.
And Bryce, what I will say, and I know that you feel this sentiment as well, we busting on him, and rightfully so. But at the same time, Djokovic, Yelena, Troitsky, his wife, Dimitrov, we want you to get well. We do not wish you any harm. This Rona ain't no joke. Last time I looked, our numbers were in the States were 2.3 million. And of that, 120 death cases of those 2.3. Again, this Rona ain't nothing to play with, y'all. It's not to be played with. So sincerely, we do not wish any of you to have any roughness as it relates to testing positive. We want you to get well. We want you to get better. But simply put, we are also holding you accountable for your silliness and the bad decisions that you've made as it relates to this. That's what's up.
Right.
That's what's up.
And good job for bringing that up because I definitely didn't want that message to get lost in us clowning on the rest of the stupid stuff they've done. Now, before we get off of the Federer piece, we do want to mention that he has made an announcement since I think the last time we've talked to our audience, and that is that he was having some problems rehabilitating that knee he had the surgery on. And he decided, while everybody is trying to figure out how things are going to be going forward, I'm going to just kind of back off a little bit, let them go back in and tweak that knee again, and I'm going to take the rest of the year off, and he'll be ready to come back in 2021.
Now, Bryce, I'm going to ask you this. Because you know I love me some Fed. But I'm going to put it out here.
Uh-huh.
Do you feel like Roger, because you know Roger got all the money in the world and he got the top surgeons. Do you really feel like he has an issue with his knee, or is this one of those, you know what, all this craziness that's going on in 2020, I'm gonna stay at home with Mirka and the kids, and we gonna chill out, watch how everything kind of falls out, and I'll see you back in 2021. I honestly, I cannot say that did not cross my mind, and I wouldn't be mad at him for it if he did.
Right. It's a potential theory. I can't say that's because we know they all say whatever they need to say to do what they want to do.
Exactly.
So I don't know. It's a possibility. But I kind of like the fact, whether it's true or not, that he is going to let everything kind of settle out. By the time we get to January, we should have a pretty good idea of how we're doing things. At that point, he doesn't need to be, a test for any of this stuff coming up.
Exactly.
And yeah, just
he's Roger. He don't need to go through that.
Right.
So I'm like you. If that's his choice, I am not mad at it at all. I just found it funny though when he was like, "Oh, well, the knee ain't quite right." So I said, "Bitch, please, you got money on top of money. We know that surgery was good. You just want to chill out, hang back with Milky and the kid, like, I ain't dealing with that foolishness, because you know what's gonna happen." They would be asking Fed about all of this that's going on with with Djokovic. He don't want to be in the middle of any of that. And so like I said, if he did, I don't blame him. Right. We of course we love Fed, so we just want you, dog, to be healthy. We want you to get right, and we want to see you January 2021.
Absolutely. And so, speaking of leading into 2021, something else that has recently happened is both the ATP and the WTA have released, pretty much full schedules for the rest of the year. I know the women basically have. The men, not so much after the French Open.
Not after the French,
but, jam-packed with tournaments. And even with the whole Adria tragedy happening over there, it looks like everything is on schedule to start back in the beginning of August.
Yeah, and that's just such a good sign, man. I mean, like I said, folks are starving for sport, and I know the tennis fans, me and you included, of course, we cannot wait to actually see some true competitive tennis. And even these regional events have been pretty darn good. Right. And so definitely once the actual tour gets going, it's going to be off the chain, man. I cannot wait. I don't mind the no fans. I don't mind any of that. I just want to see some good competition. I want to see some tennis.
I agree. But I'm going to tell you a development that's happening now that could be very, very interesting. Now, I don't know if you've heard, since the United States, we don't seem to take this whole coronavirus thing seriously. Just so stupid. Anyway, I'm sorry. But, Europe is coming up with their ban list in terms of, and they're saying Russia, Brazil maybe, and the United States are potentially going to be on their ban list because they're saying any country that doesn't have a handle on the virus, they're not letting come into Europe. So my whole question is if this really does happen, is there a situation then where the Americans are not able to go over and play the French?
The French, yeah.
Right. Now, let's be honest. I don't know how many Americans really, or at least on the men's side, it ain't a big deal. It don't really matter. No. But more so for the women, though.
Absolutely. Because we got some clay quarters.
Right. This could be an interesting type situation if they don't allow Americans, Brazilians, and Russians.
Yeah, that would be rough. That would be rough. Because I know that I'm just thinking, of course, of the Queen, Serena. I would imagine, true enough, we don't actually even know that she's going to travel, given the fact that, she's got the baby and everything.
Right.
It sure would be a good opportunity for her to, again, play both because she, we already, got the news about the U.S. Open.
Right.
And the fact that she would be able to potentially compete at the French as well to give herself 2 more opportunities in 2020 to catch that record and potentially even pass it, given the fact that, it's 2 of them. So she could vault over her real quick. And you have to believe that, she's been, well, you and I talked about this. Serena looked good.
She does look good. She looks very good. And we even got the report that she has resurfaced the court in her backyard with the same surface as the U.S. Open is using. So, look, Serena is not beyond winning her 24th on the humble. I mean, we already know that Simona Halep is not coming to the U.S. Open. We don't know who else is not coming over. So if Serena gets Taylor Townsend in the finals, she don't care. She will take the victory.
Like, I would take that.
I'll take the victory.
Just don't have Taylor
it.
showing up playing like she played against Simona Halep.
I don't think we got to worry about that right now. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, I always knew Serena was going to at least play the U.S. Open. There's no way she's not going to do that. And we know that by her playing the U.S. Open, that Venus will be there as well.
Venus will be there. Looking forward to that too. And like I said, they've been getting their little yoga on. Both of them look good. They look like they're in shape. So I am hoping that translates into some really, really good tennis once they get back on the court. So yeah, man.
Now something else I want to add about the U.S. Open is that did you hear that they decided to add the wheelchair?
I did see that.
The final weekend.
Yeah, because
that was really good. Yeah, because the wheelchair people clowned.
They was like, you know what?
Right, because they didn't even consult them. They didn't. They just canceled it and didn't have a single conversation with them. And I'm so proud of them for speaking up. Right? They could have just been. They could have just been like, "Dang, we just got ganked on the U.S. Open," and just took it. But they spoke up and they made a difference. And now they're going to be playing on the final weekend. So, to the wheelchair competitors, props to you guys for speaking up and getting included in this year's U.S. Open.
Absolutely. Good on you. Because I know that the top male players from Australia, I believe, and I know he was a big voice in saying, you know what, this ain't right. And they were exactly right. I'm so happy that they got that, or getting that rectified, if you will. Because that was bad for them. I know, and we know they got a ton of things going on, but I'm sorry, you can't forget a full on class of people who are competing and who have competed. You can't do that. So good for them for raising their voices. Good for the establishment to listen and get it back in.
So so good. So we're looking forward to it. I know our listeners are probably excited for tennis to come back because they're probably tired of us doing all these quarantine episodes.
Guess what? We tired too because we love talking about tennis. Me and Bryce, that's what we do. Let's be real clear. Yeah. I love I feel like we've been blessed to do the interviews. We interviewed Kat, and again, folks, like Bryce said, if you haven't had an opportunity, listen to that Kat episode. It was really, really outstanding, and she is such a phenomenal woman. And again, get those pre-sales of the book. But we got, again, we interviewed Zena, we interviewed Chad. I mean, there's just so much fun that we've had in our interviews. But as Bryce and I both know, our chemistry is this: talking about tennis, getting our bus on, and just enjoying the sport as we know it. That's where we feel like we excel. So yeah, I'm thirsty for some tennis.
Right. Well, before we go any further, I just want to get something all the way off my chest.
Come on, bro. Stage is yours. Okay,
so I was watching this exhibition we have going on with the ladies in South Carolina right now, and it was Sonia Kennan playing, I think, Ali Risk, and it was Tracy Austin and Ted Robinson commentating, and so Ted Robinson was like, he was giving props to Sonia Kennan and her father, and what a great job her father has done. Raising a champion and by him not having a tennis background. And I'm completely agreeing with this. I'm like, yes, great. Yeah. Looks like they have a great relationship. It's good, right? And so then he goes on to say, what's so remarkable about him raising a champion and not having a tennis background, I can't even really think of another situation that is comparable. The closest thing that comes to my mind is Marion Bartoli, because her dad was a doctor. And I tell you what, if my eyes could have burned a hole through my TV set, and I'm like, and this is what's frustrating me, all right? Because
Yeah,
Ted
man.
Robinson is a veteran tennis
Veteran.
commentator, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Been around the game since Moses was playing, right?
Right.
And you mean to tell me that when you're thinking about a father that raised tennis champions who did not have a tennis background, and Richard Williams is not the first name that falls all the way out your mouth, what's going on? And credit to Tracy Austin, because at least she came in and she said, what about Venus and Serena?
Right?
And it just, you know what? And I know I'm a little sensitive with this because I'm really getting kind of sick and tired of them disrespecting Richard Williams. This man has done something in the game of tennis that nobody, take all these other coaches with all their theories and backgrounds and trainings and all that, he has done something that they have never done. I argue to you, the Williams story is the greatest story in the history of professional tennis, right?
Bar none. Bar none.
And
Bar
so
none.
you mean to tell me that the greatest story in professional tennis, you can't think of their father who had learned tennis from a book,
Yes.
and has raised two of the greatest, what Rebecca said, the greatest champion ever on the women's side, and her sister,
Hall of Famer.
big time Hall of Famer, right?
Big time. Thank you.
And wait a minute. And not only did he do all of this, he did it in a very unconventional way. He did it his way, and he told you guys this is what's going to happen. And you criticized him when he told you that Venus and Serena were going to be number 1 and 2 in the world. And they talked about it. All of them did. You know, they all flock around Venus and Serena now, like, oh yeah, they're the greatest this and the greatest that. But they talked about their butts bad back then. Talked about the beads in their hair, everything, right?
Yep.
And now, and this is what I'm sick. I'm sick and tired of our people having to be above and beyond the best, because that's what they are. Venus and Serena are the best, right?
Yeah,
argue me on that, right? They are the best. And when you are talking about scenarios in the game and they still can't fall out your mouth, what you bring up Marion Bartoli before the Williams sisters? And I tell you what, if Richard Williams was a white man, they would be scraping Billie Jean King's name off the tennis center right now to put his name up there. I'm telling you, they would be. Up there with utility scraping. B-I-L. I'm telling you. So y'all better start putting some respect on Richard Williams' name. I'm trying to tell you.
You better go ahead and sprinkle it, friend. You better preach. You better go ahead and
annoying.
Preach. Folks, I'm going to let you know. This Bryce is fired up right now. I love it, dog. That's what I'm talking about. Bring it. That's right. You better let them folks know, because you know I am right there with you. Richard Williams he has not been appreciated. Right, exactly. I'm hot too. He just simply has not been appreciated for what he has done and what he predicted would happen. Right. Everything he said, it's happened. And it's still happening, people. Still happening. So the fact that, again, in an instant, that didn't roll off of the tongue of a seasoned announcer in Ted Robinson. Ted, shame on you, bro. You need to go and do a retrospective, and you need to go ahead and figure out what's going on with yourself, because that's not excusable, bro.
Right.
Ain't excusable.
Well, Ted needs to be happy that I don't own the tennis channel, because you would have Chandler Rubin and Lindsay Davenport coming in the studio one day. So, where'd Ted?
Where'd Ted go?
Why his cubbyhole all boarded up? You know what? I'm gonna let you. Since we're talking about the tennis channel, I'm gonna turn it over to you and let me calm down a little bit. Talk to us about that Juneteenth episode.
Exactly, folks, and hopefully y'all tuned in to the tennis channel They had a nice little, they talked about Juneteenth. They had both Katrina and Chanda speak on it. Just, it was really, really well done. They spoke about, again, Althea Gibson and her contributions. They talked about Tiafo and his Rack Is Down, Hands Up movement. I mean, just so many different things that they really went into and spoke on. And I really thought they did a great job, Bryce. And it was just really, really well done. I was impressed with them doing that. I really was. How about you? What were your thoughts on that, bro?
I thought it was great, and I love seeing all the footage of Gabriel, the tennis kid. And shout out to you, Gabriel. We know you out there.
Right?
Yeah, no, it was great. And they picked two of the best people to come on and to speak about that. I mean, Katrina, obviously, for the role that she's held. And then the great, and Chanda's kind of the face that we see nowadays. So props to the Tennis Channel for acknowledging it. I mean, I know kind of everybody's acknowledging it now based upon the current climate. But still props to them for doing that. But, as good as that was, it was unfortunate to hear about the Arthur Ashe statue, and that's in Virginia, right?
Believe so. Is it the Carolinas?
No, maybe North Carolina.
Yeah, it's one of them too.
But, talk about that, Isaac.
So yeah, I mean they did mention that as well on the Tennis Channel. And luckily it wasn't on Juneteenth, but the fact that it had been tagged, and I guess the Black Lives Matter, they had the BLM on there, and then there was a white patron that came and was basically spray painting WLM for White Lives Matter. And there is of course a ton of controversy as it relates to the whole Matters movement, is what I'll call it. But simply put, don't be defaming Arthur Ashe's statue, man. That shit ain't cool. Because Arthur has done so much for the sport of tennis and for just the world. Right. Let's be clear.
And the other thing I didn't appreciate is don't be comparing it to what they're doing to these Confederate statues. These people that were, let's not forget, traitors against the Union. These people that, if you look up the Articles of Succession, their primary reason for trying to succeed from the Union was because they wanted to keep black people as slaves. So I'm sorry, they are not held in the same regard as Arthur Ashe. And if you disagree with me, we can talk about that. But it's, that's a shame.
You said that very well, man. If you don't disagree with me, you can sign off. You can sign off. Because I'm sorry. Nobody needs you here. We are not trying to, no.
Right.
So simply put, that act was just heinous.
Right.
Don't be messing with Arthur Ashe. Don't mess with his memory.
Right.
Don't mess with nothing related to Arthur Ashe, because that man did so much for the world.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be playing, folks. Come on now. Yeah.
So let's loosen up and get it on something else. Let's talk about some celebratory stuff, right? So we had a couple of our old heads get a little older.
Right?
We had Leander Pace turn 48 years old, and he's still out there doing it. I think this was his last year, though, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think pretty much he's calling it.
He's going for that Martina Navratilova trying to win something at 49 deal,
It won't be, she went out with a grand slam, mixed up with Bob Bryant.
Yeah, so exactly.
You're going to have to do big, Leander. You're going to have to come big. Because Martina, she went out big, dog.
Yes,
so you're going to have to bring it.
Yes, she did. But then we had our queen, Venus Williams, turn 40. And Venus is out there still doing it.
How about that?
Right.
How about Venus Williams turning 40 years old? Man, that's just, who would have thought? I mean, even Richard was talking about, man, they're going to be in their mid-20s. They're going to be out.
That's one thing he didn't predict. That's one thing he didn't predict, right?
And that's the only one thing that he didn't predict correctly. And thankfully, that was the one part of it that didn't come true. Because we love the fact that at 38 and 40, the sisters are still not only in the mix, but they still controlling the mix.
Right.
Don't trip.
Right.
Don't trip. So the fact that Queen V turned 40, man, that was just so awesome.
Right.
And good on her, man. I really hope that this time off just allows her to kind of get right, get back on the court, and just compete real hard. Because we both know that it's probably, she's going to do this year. She wants that Olympics. Right. And I really am happy that kind of things for her have fallen the way that they have. Because this gives her an opportunity to get herself right, to actually make that Olympic team based on, her results.
Well,
she's got time now.
And let me tell you something else that I have my eye on for Venus with the Olympics. You saw that they have 2 spots where the host country can reserve one for someone from the host country. Okay. And the other spot is for someone who doesn't make it that is, I think, a prior world number 1 or a prior Grand Slam champion.
Well, she checked those boxes.
Right. So I'm thinking, in my mind, who are you going to give that one to over Venus?
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that you would give that to, unless Andre Agassi decides to come out of retirement. Even then,
but that would be on the men's side. That would be on the men's side.
That's right.
So what female would you put? Well, I guess. Well, Kim Kleist is going to probably make it for her team anyway. But
exactly right.
But I mean, because Venus, and I know Venus is not looking to play singles there anyway. She just wants to be able to play doubles with Serena. So, although I'm sure she wants to make it on her own achievement,
merits and achievements. Yeah.
I'd like to think that one spot should be hers to lock up.
I would think so, bro. Because there's, like you said, I can't think of anybody else that would be able to beat her out of a spot like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 4-time gold medalist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did they just announce that though, bro? Did they just?
Maybe a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, maybe about a couple of weeks ago.
I guarantee you, they was like, you know what? We're going to put some kind of clause up in here because we're going to get Venus up in this. You know that's what they was thinking. Because they were like, there ain't no way we're going to have the Olympic Games without Venus Williams being up in that piece. Because of the things that you just said. 7-time Grand Slam champion. Olympic gold. I mean, just, you cannot not have Venus Williams in the Olympics. It would just not be, it would be a travesty. It'd be wrong.
No, and I'm gonna go out here on a limb and do my Richard Williams prediction thing.
Go on, friend. Go ahead.
2021 will be it for Venus Williams. She will not cross over into 2022. And one of the things that I absolutely respect about her is you see that she is putting more energy to building her brand outside of tennis. We know she already has the interior design, V-Star. Ebony V-Star or whatever interior design. She's got the 11 clothing line. And I don't know if people have been watching, but she has a game show that she's on with Rob Gronkowski called Game On CBS. Now, the show was trash, but I mean, and look, everybody knows how I feel about Venus and Serena, but I got to call it like it is, because if somebody goes and watches the show and I didn't call it trash, they would be looking at me funny, right?
They'd be like, how you set us up?
Right. And although it's trash, every week she gets a Nielsen ratings bump for me because I watch it every single week.
I'm gonna watch
to support her. And I know it wasn't her idea and she was brought on for her celebrity or whatever. And I'm hoping that this is a stepping stone for her to do other and bigger things. But I'm so proud of her for going ahead, because Serena, of course, built her brand outside of tennis.
She good. Yeah,
right.
She good.
But Venus is stepping out and doing that, and I'm really, really proud of her.
I agree with you, man. Like I said, I've watched the show, and you're absolutely right. It is trash. It's pretty bad. Folks, it is bad. And, oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's so bad. Wait a minute.
I would have made it. Look, I would have made it through the first 10 minutes of that show if Venus wasn't on it.
I'm with you, bro. Because I keep watching it like, ooh, this show is so bad.
And we know it's not her idea. And they got 15 executive producers on it. Everybody got a damn say on that show.
Oh, God, it's so funny, dude. See, You got me up here crying, man. It's trash, folks. But at the same time, watch it.
Right,
Because
yeah.
you know what, in truth, if you go into it kind of knowing that it's trash,
Right.
you enjoy it.
Right.
You actually will find it to be pretty hilarious.
Right.
Because I mean, just everybody on there is just crazy. And, you know, and I don't know if they're acting, but it's just bad acting. And everything. It's just bad. It's bad. But if you go into it with the right mindset, that shit could be funny.
Right.
So watch it. Make sure you watch it because we want to support Queen
We
Bee.
We do.
But yeah, do not be mistaken.
Don't be looking. It ain't no
Don't you
Jeopardy or it ain't even a joke with Wild, man.
Not at all, dude. I mean, that whole anyway, I'm gonna quit busting on the show. We're gonna stop busting on the show, but support it though. Go watch it.
Right.
Just be prepared.
So look, I know we only have a few more minutes left on here because Instagram Live like to cut a brother off.
Right.
We want to bring up. There's a lot of really good tennis going on right now.
Yes.
You've got the UTS, the Ultimate Tennis Showdown by Patrick Mouratoglou. And if you haven't watched that, please watch it. It's very new and exciting, and it has all these different kind of tricks and things you can do. Isaac, what have you thought about it?
You know, it's been amazing, Bryce. It's actually really, really good. Initially, though, I was very much like the commentators. I was like, "This is a lot," you know.
they doing a lot.
All these serves and steal the serve and X3, and I'm just like, "This is a lot." But at the same time, once you get it, it's like, okay, this is pretty good. There's strategy in certain things. And honestly, man, I have enjoyed it. And it's been good tennis. It's been great tennis, in fact. Not even good. It's been great. I've been impressed with the fellas.
Now, I'm not looking for this format to replace regular tennis, but I think this could be the new way people do exhibitions.
I agree because it brings about an element of competition, whereas you can still also have fun with it as well. So yeah, I like what Patrick and those folks threw together. It's good stuff, man. That's good.
Right. And so you also have the Battle of the Brits going on, and so there was. If you didn't see today, there was an amazing match between Kyle Edmund and Andy Murray.
I missed that. I haven't watched it yet, but go on ahead and tell it. It's okay.
No,
who ended up getting it?
Edmund. Edmund got it in the third.
He did take it? Okay.
And so that was really good. So watch all the British guys play.
Yeah. And one thing, Bryce, real quick. First of all, good on Andy because I did watch the match he played against Liam Brody yesterday.
Yeah.
And that was a good match. Andy looks pretty good. I mean, I know he's still struggling with the movement, but it looks good. And the one thing I do want to mention, though, the whole line calling thing, I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And I think that they really need to consider using that for the kind of the tournaments for the rest of the year. Because, again, that's just a way to, call the lines. You ain't got that drama. You ain't got the extra people on the court.
Well, you heard
I like that.
The U.S. Open is going to do that on the outer courts. Did you hear about that?
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't.
So they're only going to have like the full lines people on Arthur Ashe and Louis Armstrong. On the outer courts, it's going to be, So I think this whole...
I did hear that.
Right. So I think out of this whole kind of time off and trying different things, I think you're going to start to see some of these elements introduced, on the tour, which is great.
It's really good. Yeah.
We also want to mention the Credit One. I call it the women's version of the Labor Cup in South Carolina, and you got some real top American names playing, and some of the Canadians, and that's going on right now. So make sure you catch it. And Isaac, I don't know if you even heard this. They just announced, I think today, about the All-American Team Cup. That's going to be July 3rd through the 5th. You're going to have
I missed that.
2 teams. You have Team Stars that have Opelka, Taylor Fritz, Tommy Paul, and Tiafoe against Team Stripes, which is John Isner, Stevie Johnson, Query, and Tennis Anchor.
Could be interesting.
Right.
I watched 7 of those 8.
But those are your top Americans going
right.
at it, and once again, another team-type format. you know?
Absolutely, man. The more the merrier, man. Let's get this thing going, man. Folks need to get out there, start competing, get your reps in, so that this U.S. Open is coming up. It needs to be popping. It needs to be popping, and folks need to be ready, man. They need to be ready. So I love the fact that I'm hearing this.
Other thing we want to mention is if you've been following us on Instagram, we do have a baseball cap giveaway going on right now. So go to Brothers on Tennis on Instagram and see how you can enter. We will be doing, I think it goes through July the 8th, and we're doing the drawing when we do a live show on July the 9th. So
Correct.
Get out there for the baseball cap. But for those of you that don't win, and already we have more submissions. I don't know if Ivy mentioned it to you. We have more submissions now for this hat than we have for the last one we gave away.
Wow,
But
nice.
but if you don't get a hat this time, we are very, very happy to announce this is Isaac's project for Brothers on Tennis. He's been pushing this since day one, so I know he's ready to birth this child.
Yes!
On September the 1st, on our website, we are going to launch our online store. So yes, you can purchase your own Brothers on Tennis merchandise. Isaac, you talk about it. It's your baby.
Hey man, look, folks. You need to be outfitted in the Brothers on Tennis. Just simply put, it's the gear that you need to have. It's the gear that you need to put your loved ones in. It just goes without saying. Brothers on Tennis, we about to work this thing out, y'all. So we need your support. Just get ready to get your shop on, because we are excited.
Yes.
It's about to be popping.
Yes.
It's gonna be popping.
Been a long time coming for that one. We've been talking about that one for a minute. And honestly, you guys have really helped us move forward on that, because we'll get inquiries about where can I buy a shirt or where can I buy a hat, and we've been like, oh, you know,
like, it's coming.
Yeah.
We're almost there. Yeah, that's all we've been like. It's coming.
Right.
It's
right.
well, we got it on the calendar now, folks. We are making some great strides. Bryce and I and Chet, we are all just extremely excited, yo. So just be on the lookout. Bryce, you know, end of August, end of August. That's a timeline.
Right. So I want to specifically talk to those of you that are watching this on Instagram. This is our 56th episode that we've recorded. So
Yes.
first time we're doing one on Instagram, but if you want to go back and listen to any of these older episodes we've done, and some of them are off the chain.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, folks.
You can go to our website where they are all at www.brothersontennis.com, and that's BRUTHAS on tennis.com. We're on, I think, every single podcast platform that you can think about. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Pandora. You can't come to us and say you couldn't find us. You know what?
No excuse.
As a matter of fact, when people say they can't find us, it's because they spell our name wrong. It's not BROTHERS. We're not from England. It's BRUTHAS on tennis.com. So get out there and follow us and take a listen. Interact with us on social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. And, of course, we're on Instagram, as you're seeing right now. So, Isaac, we're coming down to the last few minutes. Do you have any final words that you want to say on this episode?
You know, man, this has been, I needed this because it feels like we haven't done an episode like this in a really, really long time. So this felt really good to me. I'm still going to get my bus on that Adria tour. You get the head nod, y'all. Get your mind right, y'all.
Right.
Get your mind right. Because that's ridiculous. You hurt all of us. You hurt the sport of tennis. You hurt us.
Right.
So don't be doing that foolishness no more.
Right.
Outside of that, Bryce, I'm good. How about you? How about the last word for you, Pimp? What you got?
Look, I'm just excited that we're around the corner from the tennis tour starting back up, and I'm ready to see Serena chase this number 24. I'm ready to see how there's a part of me that doesn't want any of the big three to show up at the U.S. Open so that it can be a battle for who is going to win the U.S. Open. I think Djokovic and Nadal will definitely be at the French. But we need to see of this kind of next gen who's going to be, I mean, is it going to be Tsitsipas? Is it going to be Dominic Thiem? Is it going to be Medvedev? You know, who's going to be the one that really steps out there and takes that first major title outside of the big three? And I would just laugh if Wawrinka's like, no, y'all not ready. The old guard is still holding us down.
He's still here. They may not be here, but I'm going to hold it down for the Swiss. Don't you get it twisted.
Oh, man.
Yes, sir. Come on, Stan.
Exactly. So anyway, y'all, we're going to sign off. This has been an absolute blast. We'll have to do this again for sure. But signing off from your favorite podcast, this is your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. And you guys stay very, very safe out there. Take care.